in. They're in the gate. And they're off. Fast Chaz and Metro are the first two out of the gate. They're joined by We're in Trouble with Sharp Speed. We're in Trouble up to take the lead. All That Glory comes through to press. These two now head and head as All That Glory takes a narrow lead over We're in Trouble second. Fast Chaz third. Metro now fourth, 4 lengths off the lead. 2 clear of Western Power. And JB strikes back. Half-mile pole. All That Glory a length. We're in Trouble chases now a length and a half back second. Metro inches up on the inside of Fast Chaz. Western Power has 5 to make up. 3 back to JB strikes back. All That Glory rounds the far turn. We're in Trouble re-engages second within a neck of the pacemaker. Fast Chaz third. Metro asks for more now. Metro losing ground fourth, has 4.5 to make up. Just got a crack at the top of the stretch, and We're in Trouble comes to All That Glory. All That Glory, We're in Trouble, head and head past the 8th pole. 3 lengths back to Fast Chaz in third. A 16th to go. All That Glory, We're in Trouble. We're in Trouble on the outside, just in front, and We're in Trouble in a winning debut. All That Glory second, Fast Chaz third, Metro was fourth. $56. They're in the gate. And they're off. Prancing Through Paris, bobbled and is last. Bella Vienna and Petite Filet, 1-2 out of the gate. Putt for Dough, third in the early stages. And Prancing Through Paris in the pink colors along the rail has 3 lengths to make up. On the outside comes Back on Track. 4 lengths covers them, heading to the half-mile pole. It's Bella Vienna just in front. A half length to Petite Filet second. Putt for Dough, well spotted third. At the rail, Prancing Through Paris, now a little bit congested, trying to slip through, and does find that room. And Prancing Through Paris gets room to move up to be a joint second. Back on Track moves up as Petite Filet drops to last. Bella Vienna a length and a half with a 1/4 mile to go. Back on Track in second. Prancing Through Paris and Putt for Dough are next. And now Bella Vienna blows the turn a bit, leads by a length coming to the 8th pole. Back on Track chasing gamely in second, and Prancing Through Paris down at the rail. Back on Track comes to Bella Vienna. Back on Track takes the lead with a 16th to go and starts to edge away. It's Back on Track, pulling away in the end to win it by almost 3 lengths. Bella Vienna second, Putt for Dough third, Prancing Through Paris wound up fourth. Santa Anita Park, Smorgasburg, Los Angeles will be bringing their best fried chicken pop-up vendors, cooking up their own special fried chicken recipes. And they're off. Fast Giselle is quick out of the gate. Gypsy King matches strides in the opening furlong, and they're joined at the rail by Neon Lights third. Magnificent Ride is 3 off the pace in fourth, followed by Incredible Shot and Kimmer. It's Fast Giselle and Gypsy King dueling to the half-mile pole. A length and a half, Neon Lights at the rail into third. Magnificent Ride is fourth. Incredible Shot has 4 lengths to make up, and Kimmer continues at the back of the field. It's the mare Fast Giselle, pressed by Gypsy King, stride for stride rounding the far turn. Neon Lights and Magnificent Ride are right together. Incredible Shot has been 5th most of the way and 2 in front of Kimmer. Fast Giselle, Gypsy King continue to duke it out as Neon Lights angles to the 3-path third down at the rail. Incredible Shot trying to make some late headway. They're in the final furlong, and Gypsy King takes the lead. Neon Lights on the outside. Incredible Shot continues to weave through traffic and closing late. It's Gypsy King holding on a half length. Neon Lights surging late. Gypsy King got the job done. Neon Lights gave him a big scare. Then it was Incredible Shot in a battle between Kimmer and Fast Giselle. In the gate. And they're off. Perfect beginning. Whimsical Air is going to the front. Here's Danita Rose with sharp speed, and there goes Danita Rose taking over and opening up 2 lengths. Whimsical Air is now in second, followed by Riders Candy third. Fiamina is 4 lengths off her stablemate, and See Her Beauty at the back of the field. Danita Rose trying to shake loose with a half mile to go, leads it by 3 lengths and is still tugging hard. Whimsical Air, Riders Candy trying to close the gap and doing so. Another 3 back to Fiamina on the inside of See Her Beauty. Rounding the turn, Donita Rose a length. Riders Candy, Whimsical Air at the rail. A gap of 4 to See Her Beauty and Fiamina. They're a quarter of a mile from home. And Donita Rose remains the one to catch. Whimsical Air hugs the rail to chase in second. And Riders Candy on the outside. There's an 1/8 to go. Donita Rose, Whimsical Air on the inside. These two come to fight it out. And Whimsical Air and Donita Rose. Whimsical Air at the rail. Donita Rose fighting bravely, but it's Whimsical Air doing the better work. And Whimsical Air and Diego Herrera win it by a length and a half. Donita Rose second. Riders Candy third in front of Fiamina. Defensor Fortis to the outside. They're in the gate. And they're off. Rhino out alertly. Hot Legs Romulo. Defensor Fortis sprints up to make it 3 of them right across the course. Birch Prospect settles nicely in 4th. The Ginger Minran is in 5th. Then it's Maxville about 8 lengths off the pace. Run Bryce Run is second to last, and Topper's Wager at the back of the field. Rhino is the leader rounding the clubhouse turn. Has it by 2 lengths. Hot Legs Romulo is in second. Defensor Fortis on the outside, and Birch Prospect under a tight hold down at the rail. The Gingerbread Man is 5th, 7 lengths off the lead. Run Bryce Run is next, racing on the outside of Maxville, and Topper's Wager the distant trailer. It's Rhino heading toward the half-mile pole, leading the way a length to Hot Legs Romulo. Defensor Fortis is just outside of them. And at the rail, Birch Prospect is comfortable. He's 4th, but only 3 lengths off the lead. Run Bryce Run is next. Maxville, the Gingerbread Man, and absolutely nothing from Topper's Wager. Rhino, Hot Legs Romulo ahead, back second. Defensor Fortis 3 deep throughout. Birch Prospect still has run at the rail. He's 4th and 3 lengths off the lead, starting to cruise up to the top runners. In behind them, Run Bryce Run. Maxville has 7 lengths to make up, and then the Gingerbread Man, they're at the top of the stretch. It's Rhino. Birch Prospect needs somewhere to go. He's trying to come through along the inside as Hot Legs Romulo is up to take the lead inside the 8th pole. Defensor Fortis, Run Bryce Run, they're coming to the 16th pole. Hot Legs Romulo is just in front. Hot Legs Romulo with a perfect trip to victory. Rhino was second. Birch Prospect finished third. It's a 3-way photo for 4th. Pride. They're in the gate. Lisa's no fractious. Settles down. And they're off. Gila gets the first call. Professor's Pride sprints up, and Big Novel prominent in the early going too. Lisa's No has asked for a little bit of speed. Bellows Fortis is just inside of her. So it's Professor's Pride who sprints up and takes the lead. Big Novel comes through at the rail. Big Novel is now the leader alongside Professor's Pride. Those two have pulled 2 clear of Gila in third. Then comes Lisa's No 4th, 3 lengths off the battle up top. and another 2 back to Bellows Forest. They swing on to the backstretch, and it's Juan Hernandez and Big Novel leading the way by a head. Professor's Pride tries to keep her honest in second. 2 more lengths, Gila third. Then comes Lisa's No-No, 2.5 off the leader, has been worked upon throughout, and it's another 3 lengths back to Bellows Forest. They have a half-mile left to go, and Big Novel just cruising along very comfortably on the front end. Professor's Pride a length back, still in second. Then Gila has to pick it up at the rail. Lisa's No-No Fort still aggressively handled, 3.5 off the lead, and 2 back to Bellows Forest. They're coming to the quarter pole, and Big Novel's been doing it sweetly every step of the way. Professor's Pride second. 3.5, Lisa's No-No on the outside of Gila. They're at the top of the stretch, and Big Novel set down now and opens up. It's Big Novel by 4. Professor's Pride is still in second, and it's a battle for third as they come to the 16th pole. Big Novel in one race, the rest are in another. Big Novel overwhelming the competition, just canters in to win by almost 7 lengths. Gila completes the exacta. Professor's Pride third, then Lisa's No-No. Racing fans, get on track and wager at least $50 on Santa Anita races with first rewards and Red Cross Night. They're in the gate. And they're off. Very even start. Ferrariano emerges with the lead, Red Cross Night. So those two go on to lead. Enjoy It Straight will settle in a perfect spot just behind them. Then Dick Best and Worst Reed Sanchez. Tom and Jazzy is toward the back of the field on the outside of Rodrigo Nose, and stretch running Moogie's Son is at the back. Dozen lengths covers them. Ferrariano, the leader, narrowly. With Red Cross Night just a neck back and a touch eager in second. 2 more to a hard-held Enjoy It Straight third. Then Worst Reed Sanchez as they slow things down. Dick Best is on the rail, advancing now within 2 lengths of the leaders. At the rail comes Rodrigo Nose, having to steady and back off. Tom and Jazzy is next. And at the back, Moogie's Son. Very compact field, and Enjoy It Straight can wait no longer. And he goes up and pounces, takes the lead away from Ferrariano, who comes right back at the rail. Red Cross Night is 3 deep in third. Worst Reed Sanchez on the far outside. Tom and Jazzy in the white blinkers is fourth now, just about 3.5 off the pace. Dick Best is next. Moogie's Son has 7 lengths to make up in the bright yellow. They're at the top of the stretch, and Enjoy It Straight has spurted clear by 2. Red Cross Night is in second. Dick Best outside Tom and Jazzy, a 16th to go. Enjoy It Straight. Red Cross Night trying very hard, and Dick Best. Enjoy It Straight. Excellent handling by Antonio Fresu to get the money. Red Cross Night was second. Dick Best third. Moogie's Son rallied belatedly, and Tom and Jazzy completes the super high 5. Cents. We're in the gate. And they're off. Cents is very quick. So is Fast Investment. Hard Money Muchachos moves up to take second. Thank You Honey is down at the rail. Tap It Down is next. Dark Marcus hopped ever so slightly at the start, and then Dangerous Game into the first turn, and it's Fast Investment passing the 7/8 pole with a narrow advantage. Hard Money Muchachos up alongside in second. They're followed by Tap It Down, Thank You Honey between, and Sense is 3 wide, only a length off the leaders as he takes third and is pretty keen to go after them. Dark Marcus is following Sense, and Dangerous Game trails. They swing on to the backstretch, and Hard Money Muchachos has taken the lead past the 5/8 pole. Fast Investment just a head back second. Sense third. Thank You Honey between horses. Tap It Down at the rail. And Dark Marcus is 4 or so off the lead. Another gap back to Dangerous Game. They have 3.5 furlongs to run. And it's Hard Money Muchachos, the leader, letting it out a notch now. Dark Marcus moves into second. Fast Investment is losing ground. Then Tap It Down. Sense has also lost significant placing, now 7 lengths off the lead. And from the back, Dangerous Game trying to pick up some pieces. They have a quarter of a mile to go. And here's Dark Marcus, big boy on the outside, up to take the lead. Hard Money Muchachos is fighting with him. These two are well clear. A long way to Tap It Down in third. Hard Money Muchachos digs in. Now turning away, Dark Marcus opens up a length and a half. Dark Marcus trying his best. It's more than 10 back to the rest. Hard Money Muchachos and Armando Ayuso win it by a length and a half. Dark Marcus second, a block to Tap It Down, Fast Investment, and Dangerous Game. Deficit Maha. And they're off. Very awkward start for Princess Snow. We Miss Grammy is going out for the early lead. Ankura is flashing plenty of early pace. No Way It's Today is up close, as is Marina's Tina, who moves up and claims third. Deficit Maha is on the far outside, 4 lengths off the leaders. Behind them, it's Asian Matriarch, English Danger, and it's another 3. Adderley, by the way, is in that group as well in the blue colors, 4 lengths off the lead, then a gap to Princess Snow. On to the back stretch, and the lead belongs to Ankura. It's the gray Ankura in front by a length and a half. Deficit Maha is in second, followed by We Miss Grammy, No Way It's Today, racing right together with Marina's Tina. Adderley in the blue colors, 3.5 or so off the pacemaker. Outside of her, it's Asian Matriarch, English Danger second to last, and Princess Snow. Around the far turn, Ankura has been the controlling speed, has led throughout, has it a length and a half to Deficit Maha second. We Miss Grammy is down at the rail. No Way It's Today pushed along in fourth. Adderley is now coming through along the inside, needs to find a spot, looking for it at the rail. As they straighten up, it's Ankura with a 3-length lead. Adderley now has some breathing room down at the rail. Marina's Tina is next to her. We Miss Grammy still trying hard and holding second. And Princess Snow has come alive late, but it's all over. Ankura completely outclassed them, wins it by 4 lengths. Marina's Tina was second in front of We Miss Grammy and Adderley. In behind them, Princess Snow battling it out with Asian Matriarch.
Raise your hand if you've heard of the following jockeys. I think you have. Julie Crone, Gary Stevens, Mike Smith, Alex Solis, Corey Nakatani, Kent DeSormo, Joe Bravo, Emil Ramsamy, Jose Valdivia, Van Belvar, and Chantel Sutherland. A number of them in the Hall of Fame or due to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. And the gentleman who represented all of those jockeys, at least for part of their career, sitting next to me, his name, Brian Beach. Brian, happy Saturday. Welcome to the seminar.
Hey, Tom, thank you.
That's quite a lineup. The good news is you've represented a lot of jockeys. The bad news is you got fired a lot.
Well, not fired a lot of times. It was different circumstances here and there for moving around.
But there's no contract when you're a jockey agent. It's a handshake, right?
Yeah, it's a very precarious business. Let's put it that way.
Now, the two jockeys you represent today actually have a lot of mounts on today's card. Kaz Kamara and Victor Espinoza. Let's first talk about Kaz. He's an interesting guy only because primarily he rides up at Woodbine for most of the year. He's had a lot of success. The last two winters, he's come down to Southern California and also had success. Is he a pleasure to work with?
Yeah, he's just a sweet guy. He's very, kind and polite and considerate and respectful. And, he's a great guy. And just a heck of a finisher on a horse, too.
You're getting him in a lot of good barns, including Richard Mandela, where he won with Goliad going wire to wire. That was quite a ride.
Yeah, no, Richard's been very good to us. We've won 3 races for him, and we have one today that we like again today for him, and he's just been great.
Another guy that has done well for you is Bob Baffert. You have Victor Espinoza. Looking back through the history books, you rode both American Pharaoh to the Triple Crown and California Chrome to 2/3 of the Triple Crown as well. Let's first focus on American Pharaoh. What was that whole 6-week period like for you? A lot of tension, a lot of anxiety. Just roll the dice and let it fall where it may.
Well, it always is, because you're always just worrying about, these things you can't control, things that, might happen, at the barn or on the track, just some
freak thing.
Yeah, just something goofy, that goes on that you can't control, so there's that anxiety. But I had been through it the year before with California Chrome, trying to win the Triple Crown. And so, I guess I was kind of a little bit battle scarred, but still very nervous the whole way through.
Does that experience for Victor probably make him a better rider? Because that's really the ultimate of being maybe nervous or, there's just so much pressure on him, let's say, particularly going into the Triple Crown race. Do you think that helps a jockey, Victor, in terms of the everyday, day-to-day racing? Oh, no big deal.
Well, I think Victor's biggest strength his whole career has been is that he is just so even-tempered. He doesn't get too high in the highs, too low in the lows. That was something that I always remember Shoemaker saying was one of his big attributes. And Victor has the same thing. I mean, you can ask Bob, when he came out for the Triple Crown for the Belmont, from the jockey's room, he was blowing bubble gum. And, Bob said, you wouldn't know that, the whole world was watching and the Triple Crown was on the line. For Victor, he was pretty calm and cool.
You and I have both been around a long time, but I felt this year's colony this winter was one of the strongest we've had here in Southern California. Jockeys like Frankie Dettori, Humberto Rispoli, Juan Hernandez, many others come to mind. Do you think this was one of the deepest colonies we've had? They're starting to migrate out of Southern California as places like Keeneland open up. But what was your assessment of the colony this meet?
Yeah, it wasn't 10 deep like it's been in the past, but it was for sure 5 or 6 deep for Hall of Fame quality
for the elites
jockeys. And we really didn't even have Rosario here much, and he was supposed to be kind of based here, but he was traveling so much and, we didn't really get to see him a lot. But, Southern California is always going to be a tough place to win a race from a jockey's point of view, trainer, whatever. It's still, in my opinion, it's still the best racing.
We see you're wearing proudly the colors of the Washington State Cougars. Your Twitter handle is Cougzag. You're going to have a busy afternoon today. Both Washington State and Gonzaga are in the field of 32. They both play this afternoon. Let's first focus on Gonzaga. They're playing a kind of a banged-up Kansas team at altitude in Salt Lake. You like Gonzaga today?
I do. They've kind of, they were a little shaky through the season, but they've kind of come together at the right time, and now they got the first game out of the way where they were really aggressive and on, with their shooting and their defense is really good. So I think they got a big shot today against Kansas. I don't think this is the same Kansas team that started this season.
If you had a chance to meet legendary coach Mark Few, I know you spent a lot of time up in Spokane. What's he like?
Oh, he's a great guy. I knew him when he was, an assistant coach there, kind of just getting a start when Dan Fitzgerald was, the head coach. And so, yeah, I've known him for a long time. He's a great coach. And, he's just one of those guys that's just like very consistent.
Did he ever go to Playfair? Does he know anything about horse racing?
I don't know. I don't remember seeing him at Playfair, but, I saw a few of the priests that were teaching at Gonzaga out there at Playfair.
Showed up a little bit discreetly, right?
Yeah.
Now, Washington State, as I mentioned, also plays today. They play Iowa State. They had a very successful Pac-12 season. I believe they went undefeated, if I'm not mistaken. They played well the other night. Obviously, they've advanced into this afternoon as well. What do you think of their chances?
Washington State's got a really good team this year. They beat Arizona twice, one, including in Tucson. So, and I think, Arizona's sort of the gold standard of the Pac-12 this year, and I think they have a big chance to win, the whole thing. Gonzaga, Washington State, is really tough inside. They got some good big men, and they have, I think I heard the other day, is the second biggest front line in basketball this year. And then they got some really good shooters. So if the shooters are on, it's tough to, double those guys down low. So, but Iowa State's really tough too. So it's going to be a great game.
You and I have watched a lot of college basketball together. We've actually showed up in stadiums around the country unexpectedly and bumped into each other. Do you think UConn's the team to beat? Do they have a few holes in them? Like who's probably the team you're most worried about?
Yeah, I think UConn, and I think they're, they've been there, they've done that. They've got a lot of veterans, and, they're well coached, and, they're the team to beat, definitely.
We've got veteran jockey agent Brian Beach as our seminar guest today. He's got a number of mounts with both of his jockeys, Kaz Kamara and Victor Espinoza. We're going to run through today's 9-race card with Brian, find out who he likes and why. But before we do any of that, let's toss the microphone over to track announcer Frank Miramati and get the early changes on today's Saturday's card here at the Great Race Place.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park, the Great Race Place. The track is fast, and the turf course rated as good, with the rail on the turf out 10 feet for today's racing. Here are the early changes. There are no changes in the first race. In the second, scratch number 3, Curry, and with that scratch, there's no show wagering in race 2. In the third, a jockey change for number 7, Blame George. Make the jockey Tiago Pereira. Race 3, number 7, Tiago Pereira. In the fourth, started the $1 pick 6, number 5, Winning Big, 2 pounds over. Race 5, we have a program scratch of number 5, Thornhouse. The all-turf pick 3 begins with the 5th on races 5, 7, and 9. In the 6th, number 3, You're in Trouble, 1 pound over. The 7th is the grade 3 San Luis Rey. No scratches or jockey changes. 8th race kicks off the Golden Hour pick 4, just a blinker note. And the same for race 9, start of the Golden Hour double. Enjoy your day at Santa Anita Park, where post time for the first is in 59 minutes at 1 p.m. Let's go back to the studio and rejoin Tom Quigley at Quigley's Corner. His special guest today is Brian Beach.
Welcome back. We're talking horses with agent Brian Beach. He represents both Kaz Kamara and Victor Espinoza. We're going to take a look at today's 9-race card. But before we do, Brian, a question for you. As handicappers, we're kind of spoiled. We get the past performances right in front of us 24 to 48 hours in advance. We know exactly who's running in each race. You, as a jockey agent, on the other hand, you have to look at condition book, estimate who might be in or out of a specific race, and kind of know who the better horses are, either off of your great memory or the notes you have in your iPad. How do you kind of determine which horses to ride, that far in advance?
Well, I have horses, certain horses I target, that I would like to ride in the race, and I go ask the trainer and or maybe the owner about it. But a lot of times it just kind of falls into place because you might have one in that category, and you're kind of following them through, that series of races that they're running in. But I look at the sheets and I look at things like that, and I kind of make notes and keep a little record of the horses that when they were in together the time before, who looked the strongest. And then I want to, like, for example, there's a couple of weeks coming up here at Santa Anita when a lot of the top jockeys are going to be out of town. They're going to be in Arkansas and Dubai. And like today, there's a few that are at Turfway Park. So, I can kind of go after those Pratt mounts, and the Dettori mounts and those kind of things. And so it always, it's helpful to be able, you have to kind of handicap that before you go ask, the trainer. So you want to try to ride the sharpest horse.
We might have a room full of Hall of Fame jockeys, but we also have a room full of Hall of Fame agents. Just coming to mind, Craig O'Brien, Ron Anderson, Tony Matos, yourself. I mean, the competition even starts when the condition book comes out, much less on the racetrack.
Yeah, I mean, it's very competitive that way. And all those guys you named are, they're Hall of Fame agents, and so you got to compete against the agent, and the jockey, for the mounts. So it's all about building relationships, with the trainers and doing the work in the morning and helping them out and currying the favor of, when those opportunities arise that they think about you.
Well, you did the work for the last 48 hours trying to give us some winners. So let's see how you did with your homework assignment, Brian. Kicking things off here in race number 1, where we're going 1 mile on the turf course for maiden claimers. $50,000 is the claiming tag. The turf rails today are at 10 feet. And as you can see, the turf course is listed as good. We did have some light rain in the area earlier this morning, but we don't expect any more additional precipitation. Also, race 1 begins the 50-cent early pick 5. We've got a field of 7. Number 3, Gaelic Nation, is a first-time gelding, but the morning line favorite is number 1, Precision Strike, at 2-1 on the tote board and on the morning line. But the one taking the action is number 6, Get Crackin' from the Peter Urton barn, now down to 3-2 off a 4-1 morning line. Peter Urton, very dangerous, second off the long layoff, which is what Get Crackin' does today. How'd you see race 1, Brian?
Well, I'm going to try to beat the favorite. And also, I don't really have an opinion on the Peter Urton horse. He is, he's hot. He's been hot for, the last year or so. So, you always got to consider his horse. I like Big Drinker a little bit. Steve Knapp's good off the, change in surface and change in distance and all that kind of stuff. He's always dangerous, and he's firing big right now. So, if you look through the field, it's a lot of these horses are horses that have been running in the same kind of races and doing the same thing, and they're still maidens. So I like to change it up a little bit and take a horse that's doing something different. And this horse is going from dirt to turf and sprint to a route. So take a shot with him. Big Drinker 6-1 on the tote bar right now. You also give a little love to number 1, Precision Strike, coming back in 7 days, dropping out of that optional starter optional claiming race. What'd you like about Precision Strike, Brian? Well, he's in good form, and that was a much tougher race. It was against winners that he was in last time. So now back in with maiden 50 claimers. They should be his friends, and it's probably all about if Big Drinker sets a fast pace, or whether anybody can go with him, then it'll set it up for horses like Precision Strike. Race number 2 begins the 50-cent early pick 4. This time we are sprinting 6 furlongs in the main track. It's a starter optional claiming race, as you might have heard Frank Miramati say. Scratch the 3. Curry leaves us with a field of 4. The favorite down on the rail, number 1, Hondo Crouch from the Mark Glatt barn, 2-1 on the morning line. You have a pretty good relationship with Mr. Glatt. Did he whisper in your ear about this horse at all? I wish he would have. I wish he would have said, "Hey, let's put Camara on that horse." But he didn't. Well, he gave you some love later on in today's card. Yeah, he's also, I mean, Mark's one of our best clients, and he's a Pacific Northwest guy. So have a soft spot in my heart for him, and he's a big Seahawk fan too. So that.
And his dad was no slouch as a horseman either.
Oh yeah, his dad was a great trainer, and he's still in the picture too. So I always root for Mark when I don't have one in there against him.
Looking at the graphics, it looks like you give your Pacific Northwest boy a little love here with Hondo Crouch.
Yeah, I think he's coming out of a tougher race, dropping back in, to the starter, and I think that he gets the good trip. I don't like being on the rail, in these kind of races, but I just him, and I like the 4-horse Jeff Mullins. Those 2 horses are my horses in this race.
Well, let's turn up the heat a little bit, because you've got a mountain race number 3. We're sprinting 6 furlongs in the turf course. $25,000 is the claiming tag, non-winners of 2 races lifetime. Take note, number 5, What a Dude, and number 5, What a Dude, I should say, is a first-time gelding. You ride the morning line favorite, number 6, I'm a Lucky Man, from the Mark Glatt barn. 5-2 on the morning line. Also take note, number 7, Blame George, now being ridden by Tiago Pereira. Last time out, you were the even money beaten favorite, but you decided to ride back. Any idea what might have happened last time for the disappointing performance?
Nah, I just think it was a tougher race. It went from a 25 never win 2 up into, an allowance race, and those are much tougher. And so now he's back with his friends. 25 never win 2 is, that's why he's the favorite, and that's he's in great form, and if he gets a good trip and all that, he should win.
How much interaction do you have with your jocks, Brian, either during the races, after the race, or maybe even when the races conclude? And I'm using I'm a Lucky Man as an example. You decide to ride back off that disappointing performance. And as you mentioned, there is a class drop in effect today. But do you and Kaz kind of talk about, hey, how'd this horse feel? Do you want to ride back? Do you guys not have any conversations at all? Like, take us behind the ropes, if you would.
If he feels really strongly about a horse, he'll let me know. But if not, then it's basically I'm kind of using my judgment and my eyes and what I see, and then also just kind of knowing the quality of the race and where they're coming from and where they're going to and all that, And so, like I said, this is the perfect spot for this horse. If he can't win this race today, then we're going to have some sort of an excuse
Sure.
that we don't know about yet.
You mentioned watching the races. Are you an avid replay watcher as well? Like, not only do you watch the races live, either on track or maybe at your house, but do you watch the replays consistently over and over to try and find opportunities, or are you more like a morning workout and relationship type of guy?
No, I do everything. I record the races, so if I'm here, then I can go home and watch the replays. I watch on some of the online wagering sites that will show the head-on replays.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like to watch the head-ons. Those are kind of more revealing than the pan shots to me. So I try to watch them every day. Sometimes I don't get to it until later, but most of the time I'm watching the replays.
Race number 4 begins the $1 pick 6. We're going 2 turns, 1 mile on the main track. For 3-year-olds, $25,000 is the claiming tag, a field of 6. Once again, you ride the morning line favorite, Brian, with number 4. Let's have one more. Disappointing first time out, stretched out, added Lasix, and won impressively with Kaz in the saddle. What are you expecting today in race 4?
Well, this is unknown territory. He's running against winners, and you got several horses in this race that are coming out of sprint races. So he's probably not going to get the easy lead that he had last time. He was up on the pace in a 47 3/2 mile, and then was able to kind of just take over around the turn and draw off. He's not going to get that kind of a setup today. I don't think he's, you've got several horses in here that are going to show a lot more speed than that. The pace is probably going to be in, the 46 range. And so, it's just, can he handle sitting back off the pace a little bit further, and can he handle some dirt in his face and all those things? You don't know until they do it. It's only his 3rd lifetime race. So, but he's, I think he's a better horse, than what he's shown so far. So he can win a race like this.
You think his biggest threat might be number 5, Winning Big, who we see you selected 2nd. This is one of the sprint runners stretching out to 2 turns for the first time. What is it about Winning Big that you like?
Just of the ones that are stretching out, I just liked him the best. The one horse is also stretching out too. And then I believe there was another one here.
Handsome Harry.
3,
Yep.
Handsome Harry. So I just thought that Winning Big was the horse with the least amount of excuses of those that are stretching out. So, and Mr. Biggs do well when when they route.
They sure do. Before we take a look at race 5, Brian, a question for you. I don't want you to give away all of your secrets, but how do you get a relatively new rider like Kaz Kamara into these high-profile barns like Mr. Sadler and Mr. Glatt? That can't be an easy task. You have those long-standing relationships with those aforementioned trainers, but still, he's a new commodity. He's obviously very proven up at Woodbine, but how do you convince those guys to ride your jock?
Well, I didn't have to do too much because he was here last year. I didn't have his book here last year, but everyone got a small taste of him last year, and a lot of people were excited that he was coming back. And, just unfortunately, the winter meet here is so tough because of, these
everybody's coming to SoCal.
Yeah, these interlopers that are here for the winter before they go, back east for the spring. So, he doesn't get the exact opportunity I think that he would get if he was here, starting out in, let's say the spring meet and then riding at, Del Mar or something like that. So it's been a little disappointing from that standpoint. I think, we probably should have done a little bit better so far in number of winners, but, all the right, he's riding for all the right people. And, so hopefully, a day like today, I think we can win, a couple races.
If you turn on a TV, Brian, and watch a race from Australia or a mountaineer or a track that you normally don't follow, how quickly can you tell if a jockey has talent? Does it take a couple of races? Does it take a couple of weeks? Like, can you spot talent that maybe regular horse players can't?
I don't know if I can or I can't. I like to watch, like, over a period of time, and I like to watch what they do on the horses that aren't, performing the way that, say you got a horse that's even money and he's not, running like an even money shot. And, so then what is the jockey doing, and that kind of stuff that's what I deal with every day with, because even the best in this business lose 80% of the time. So, you have to kind of deal with the losing part of it. And I want to see how they do that.
Let's take a look at race number 5, Brian. It's an important race because it begins the 50-cent late pick 5 and also the $3 all turf pick 3. We're coming down the hillside turf course, 6.5 furlongs on the turf. It's an allowance race for Calbreds, non-winners of one other than. Program scratch of the 5, Thorn House, leaves us with a field of 7. Once again, you ride the morning line favorite, number 2, Leia's Candy from the Mark Glatt bar, 9-5 on the morning line. Second off the layoff last time out, kind of ran an even second, clunked into third, once again as the beaten favorite. Now, the good news is Saucy, who finished second in that race, actually came back up at Golden Gate yesterday and won. So I think that's a pretty productive race, only because that half-mile fraction of 43.67 was the fastest for 6 furlongs of the meet so far. Obviously, the early pace was pretty hot and heavy that particular day. Give us your thoughts on race 5, including the one you ride, Leia's Candy.
Well, I don't know too much about this horse, personally. This was a mount that Frankie Dettori would have had he been here today. So we, picked it up late, and thankful to Mark for, giving us a shot on this horse. It looks to me like things set up. It looks to me like 6.5 down the hill should be to his liking. And, so hopefully we get the right trip and come home first.
They both come out of the same race because your second choice, number 8, Gypsy Tears, was in that same race that Leia's Candy was in. What do you like about Gypsy Tears?
I just like his consistency. He seems to always be around, right around it. And it doesn't matter what surface, turf, dirt, whatever. He's a hard knocker.
Let's turn the page, take a look at race number 6. Race 6 begins the 50-cent late pick 4 sequence. It's also for maiden special weight fillies and mares, sprinting 6 furlongs on the main track. We've got a field of 6. Bob Baffert runs 2 in here, including the first-time starter, morning lane favorite number 4. In Theory, a 3-year-old tackling older. You also ride one for Bob in here, Apple Fest, going turf to dirt, 4-1 on the morning line. You and Bob have had a very long-standing relationship. What's he like? What's he like, do you guys ever go to dinner? Do you guys ever watch some college basketball together?
We talk about college basketball.
He's a big Arizona fan.
Yeah, I don't think we haven't gone to a game like that before. But we've gone to dinner before, and he's a great guy. He's a former jockey. Well, yeah, but he keeps up on that kind of stuff. What you're talking about, the Arizona basketball team. He actually got some tickets for me and a few people for the Rose Bowl this year, and he was sitting on the Michigan side. We were sitting on the Alabama side, and yeah, he's a great guy. He's always done well by me. He's always ridden my jockeys and always given them a shot, and it's important because he's got those horses that have the spotlight. And so,
Everybody wants to be in his barn.
well, yeah, if you're trying to move a jockey up, you gotta ride for Bob at some point.
You rode 2 times for him this meet. You do have 1 win. As I mentioned, Applefest going from turf to dirt. What do you expect first out of Applefest?
Well, she's in a little bit of a disadvantage, in my opinion, in this race because she has the 1 hole and she has speed, but she's also coming off of 2 turf races. And in my experience, the turf, kind of dulls their speed a little bit away from the gate. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully she gets a good break, but obviously, anything that Bob puts on the track is going to be live and have a shot. And if there's a couple first-time starters in here, including Bob's. I don't know anything about Bob's first-time starter, but they're always well meant. So, of the horses who have experience, hopefully she's the best of those. And then if we don't run into like some outstanding first-time starter, maybe she can win it.
Applefest has 3 works since we last saw her in the afternoon on February 18th. Did Kaz work her at all? And is Kaz active in the morning with other workers?
He hasn't worked this filly, no. But he works, 3 or 4 horses every morning out here. And, so he normally gets a chance to get familiar with his mounts. Right now, Bob, he doesn't use a lot of jockeys in the mornings. He's got a really good staff of exercise riders, and they all breeze horses over there. So, they're a first-rate team.
And speaking of Bob Baffert's other runner, who's going to be the post-time favorite, number 4, In Theory, you can see not only is she a 3-year-old running against older, as I mentioned, but also the connections paid 53 times the stud fee. $15,000 is what the stud stands for. Mendelssohn, this filly was bought for $800,000. So certainly expectations are high, and that's indicated by Juan Hernandez, one of Bob's favorite riders in the saddle. Race number 7 is our feature race on the card. It's the Grade 3 San Luis Race Stakes, $100,000 guaranteed. Going 1.5 miles on the turf course. We start halfway up the downhill turf course and make a trip and a half, so to speak, around the turf course. We've got a field of 5. Morning line favorite number 4, Missed the Cut, who won the San Carlos for the John Sadler barn, 6-5, according to John White. But you're right, Balladeer, the controlling speed in the race, 3-1 on the morning line. Before we get your thoughts on the race, Brian, we've been talking about the San Carlos. 3 of the 5 runners in today's field exit that race. So rather than looking at the PPs, let's watch the race replay for the San Marcos and listen to Frank Miramati describe the action.
They're off in the San Marcos, and Balladeer bounces out right on top. Irish Prophet is up close in the opening stages, as is Miss the Cut, who comes through in the green silks along the inside as they cross the dirt and get to the main course. Victor Espinoza has the speedy Balladeer leading the way, opens up 2. Irish Prophet cuts into the margin just a touch, and Miss the Cut settles nicely in 3rd. They're followed by Eastern Ocean, 4 off the pacemaker. Then it's Planetario and Shortman. Balladeer comes by the stands with an uncontested lead, bounding along with a 2-length advantage over Irish Prophet in 2nd. Joel Rosario has Missed the Cut, 4 off the pace under a nice hold 3rd, and Eastern Ocean is 4th with 7 furlongs to run. Then it's Shortman on the outside of Planetario. Balladeer shakes loose. 3-length lead now. Irish Prophet, a clear-cut 2nd, 2 in front of Miss the Cut 3rd. Then Eastern Ocean, who's 4th now, 10 lengths off the pacemaker, Planetario and Shortman. It's Balladeer over his favorite course, extending the margin to almost 4 lengths. Irish Prophet 2nd. Miss the Cut still on hold 3rd. Another 2 back to Eastern Ocean with a half mile to travel in the San Marcos Stakes. Planetario and Shortman. No change in the running order. Balladeer taking them along by 2 over Irish Prophet, who's been 2nd the whole way. Balladeer just got a breather and opens it up to 3 again. Eastern Ocean making his move now to take 3rd. Missed the Cut just inside of him. Shortman and Planetario, a 1/4 mile to go. It's Balladeer. Irish Prophet comes to him. Missed the Cut, traveling beautifully along the rail, needs racing room. He's trying to get through the narrowest of openings, and he gets through. Missed the Cut, scrapes that rail, and on the outside, Planetario, but it's Missed the Cut, and Joel Rosario spurting clear at the 16th pole. Planetario's trying to get to him late. Missed the Cut. Missed the Cut. Rosario put on a clinic, wins by a length and a half. Planetario was second. It's a long way back. Four of them across the course, battling it out for third.
It's interesting, Brian, Missed the Cut, the winner of the San Marcos that we just looked at, has never had the same jockey twice in his career here in North America. And that's the case today, as we talked about, Joel Rosario out of town. So Antonio Fresu picks up the mount. I don't know if that's going to have any impact on the race, but it's an unusual situation to see a talented horse like this not have a jockey re-ride back. But again, there's extenuating circumstances. We saw Balladeer set fractions of 47 and change, 112 and change. We know Balladeer has quality. He won the Grade 2 John Henry during the autumn meet last year, but he's only got one way to go. Is the soft, quote unquote, good turf course today going to help him or hurt him?
Yeah, I don't think it's his favorite. I think he likes a little harder surface. At least that's what Victor kind of felt like last time. But the one thing that's going in his favor is the distance. This is 1.5 miles as opposed to 1.25 miles. And, you know, people think of all these marathon races, it's all the same. Well, it's not. You know, they cut out different fractions going 1.25 miles versus 1.5 miles. He should get an easier pace.
Might be like 49 or 50 and 114.
Exactly. It could be any of those kind of numbers. Whereas, you know, going 1.25 miles, you're running at 47 and change. And then, you know, in the last race, like I said, he probably didn't like the surface as much as he likes it hard and fast. So those two factors were working against him last time, and so hopefully the distance will outweigh, you know, the give in the ground, and he'll run a huge race.
And you like him, but you also respect the morning line favorite number 4, Missed the Cut, because as we saw in the replay, if he's able to sit close to the pace and get that dream trip up the rail, he's going to be tough to beat.
Well, yeah, and you know he likes a little give in the ground because he won so impressively last time. So the only thing that I would say here is that I know that John Sadler wasn't like 100% pointing to this race. He was thinking about a race at Keeneland, and you know, so maybe we catch him on the right day here.
I like the optimistic thinking, that's for sure. Race number 8 begins the $1 Golden Hour Pick 4 sequence, linking our last 2 races here at San Ida with the last 2 races at our sister track, Golden Gate. And we kick things off in the Golden Hour Pick 4, going 1 mile and a 16th on the main track for allowance optional claiming types, non-winners of 1 other than. Take note, number 8 is a first-time gelding, and those also ridden by Victor Espinoza, 20-1 on the morning line. But here's Kaz again with another morning lane favorite, number 5, Yellow Brick from the Richard Mandela barn. Added blinkers last time out off the short layoff, right into the winner's circle. You expect further improvement today, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, he ran huge last time, and just hopefully it wasn't too huge.
Look at that number. 98 is a career best, at least from a buyer speed figure standpoint.
Yeah, and he ran a big sheets number 2 and all that kind of stuff. So you always have to worry about if it took a little, you know, too much out of him. But, you know, Richard Mandela is a Hall of Famer for a reason, and I, you know, he wouldn't be running in this race if he thought the horse was any worse for wear. So he's, I think that, you know, he's a horse that could get on a little bit of a roll here if he can string together the same kind of performance.
But we can see in the graphic, Brian, that you also give a little love to a horse that I like, number 1, Hawker from the John Sadler barn. Last time out, added blinkers, first-time gelding, and ran a career best 86 buyer speed figure, losing to a freak from the Mark Glatt barn by the name of Judge Miller. He's got a right to improve as well.
He does. They made a surface switch with him last time, and I think it kind of surprised, you know, some people. He was 12-1 in the race, and he ran second. I mean, Judge Miller's a really nice horse. So they're going to try to duplicate that again and go back on the dirt rather than back to his normal turf surface. So, you know, they must feel like this is maybe his new life.
Let's take a look at the nightcap, which begins the $5 Golden Hour Daily Double. Similar concept. Last race here with the last race at Golden Gate. And we close out the card going 1 mile on the turf course for maiden special weight Calbred 3-year-old fillies. We've got a field of 9. Morning line favorite number 6, Run a Mile in My Shoes, is the 2-1 morning line favorite. You have a mount on the bottom with a second-time starter, number 9, Another Summer from the Carla Gaines barn, ridden by Kaz Kamara, 8-1 on the morning line. Before we get your thoughts on the race, Brian, we want to watch a replay that ironically Another Summer exits. Not only does Another Summer exit this race, but 5 of the 9 runners in today's field exit this same race. It was back on February 10th. It was the 4th race. The one I want you to pay attention to is the one that Brian rides, number 9 in this particular race, Another Summer. In the replay we're about to watch, she's the gray filly that's going to break from post position number 2. You can see in her running line, she doesn't really do any running, but she does have trouble. And what I want you to pay close attention to is on the gallop out. She blows by everybody before they get to the clubhouse turn. So let's listen to Frank Miramati describe the action back on February 10th and watch number 2, Another Summer, in action.
And they're off. Jane Kende bounces out very quickly and will vie for the early lead. Here's Sparta FC coming through along the inside to show some good speed, and Envisioned is faster than both. Envisioned in front. Run a Mile in My Shoes, red colors down at the rail, and then Naturally Blonde racing in fifth on the inside of Beautiful Janet. Two more to Another Summer, and at the back of the field, Can't Sleep, who is 10 lengths in front of Girl Can't Help It. There's a half mile left to go, and it's Envision the leader by a length. Jen Kende tracks from second. Run a Mile in My Shoes. Beautiful Janet, who broke well, coming back for more now in fourth. They're followed by Naturally Blonde in between those two. Sparta FC and Can't Sleep are next, followed by Another Summer and Girl Can't Help It. Rounding the far turn, Envision has been there throughout. Jane Kende now puts the white blinkers in front. Beautiful Janet presses the issue. Can't Sleep looping up 4 wide as the field turns for home. Jane Kende, Can't Sleep in the center of the course. In between them, Beautiful Janet is in there. Here's Can't Sleep with a furlong left to go, up to take the lead. Straightened up by Frankie Dettori and opening up 2. From the back of the field, Run a Mile in My Shoes closing into second. It will be Can't Sleep. Can't Sleep, an easy win. Second to
Brian, as we watch the gallop out here, take a look at the gray coming up on the outside here. And as they approach the clubhouse turn, she's full run. The winner, Can't Sleep, who we just watched win the race, was also from the Carla Gaines barn. But I'll tell you what, Another Summer sure looks like she's crying out for 2 turns, which is what she gets today. I don't necessarily like the post, but I do like the price of 8-1 of all the runners you ride today. That's my favorite, but based off that replay. What say you about race 9?
Well, yeah, I mean, she's going to have probably the longest odds of, the ones that we ride today that I think have a shot to win. So yeah, you're correct in that. And, she didn't want any part of sprinting. She just ran around there kind of evenly. And then you can, as you pointed out, you can see how she just, loved, the distance as we passed the wire. So hopefully that the post won't compromise her too much and she'll be able to, strut her stuff today.
And the Dam Ultimate Summer has thrown a number of runners that'll be familiar to Southern California horse players. Another Summer is a half to tribalist. Ultimate Bango and Big Summer. Ultimate Bango earned close to $500,000. The other two earned in excess of $300,000. The breeding is there. I strongly believe that Another Summer is one of the better price plays on today's card. You also like Run a Mile in My Shoes, who's going from sprint to route, broke from the rail last time up, but still ran a really good second, Brian.
Yeah, and she's got more speed than we do, so that's an advantage when you're stretching out. She's gonna, have the run of the race, and we're gonna have to catch her. So, if we don't kick it into gear and run her down, then she's, in my opinion, the most likely winner.
9 great wagering opportunities on today's card, but there's one more to consider as well. That's because it's a lucrative coast-to-coast pick 5. It's $1 minimum. Last Saturday's coast-to-coast pick 5 results, it paid in excess of $10,000 for a $1 minimum wager. As you see on the screen, the kickoff race for the coast-to-coast pick 5 goes as Sandy to race 3, which will be 1 minute before 2 o'clock Pacific time. Make sure you get involved, linking some races here at San Anita with some races at Gulfstream Park. Brian, thank you so much for your time and insight today. You're 15 minutes late to watching the Gonzaga tip-off. Good luck to not only the Cougs, but also the Zags in both of their games today. And best of luck with your 2 jockeys, Cascamer and Victor Espinoza.
All right. Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it.
Thanks to you, Brian. Thanks to all of you for watching as well. Hope you enjoyed it. Next voice, you'll hear your track announcer, Frank Miramati, updating us when they need late changes. Good luck, everybody, and have fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem. Good afternoon and welcome to Santa Anita Park, the Great Race Place. Here are the changes. The track fast, turf good, rail on the turf at 10 feet, no changes in the first. In the second, no show wagering, scratch number 3, Curry, race 2, scratch number 3. In the third, number 7, Blame George, make the jockey Tiago Pereira. Fourth race, start of the $1 pick 6, number 5, Winning Big, will carry 2 pounds over. Fifth race, we have a program scratch of the 5, Thornhouse. It starts the $3 all-turf pick 3. In the sixth, number 3, You're in Trouble, 1 pound over. The seventh is the grade 3, San Luis Rey, just the blinker note. Eighth race starts the golden hour pick 4, blinker note. And the ninth starts the golden hour double with a blinker note. Saturdays and Sundays, we offer the Coast to Coast pick 5, low 15% takeout, $1 minimum. It starts here today with our third race at 1:59 p.m. Enjoy your day. They'll be at the gate for the opener at Santa Anita Park in 27 minutes.